This, ladies and gentlemen, is my favorite phone of 2019 so far. The LG V50. Hey there, friends on YouTube. My name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This is Painfully Honest Tech so honest it hurts. If this is your first time here and you want to come on back again and see more phone reviews or opinionated pieces about technology or anything like that, then you can hit the bell notification. No, first you hit the subscribe button, then you hit the bell notification icon. If you like this video, then please go ahead and hit the like so that I don't know, I think it helps. Not sure. If you've been here before, thanks so much for being here again. I really do appreciate it. You guys are my heroes. I'm going to sing a Bette Midler song. No, I'm not. Anyway, let's talk about the LG V50. This is a phone that came out a couple of months ago to absolutely no fanfare whatsoever. I don't think I saw Marques Brownlee cover this phone. I don't think I saw Lou from Unbox Therapy cover this phone. None of the big time, big old, super duper subscriber base YouTubers, but it's covered this phone, which I don't get. Maybe I'm wrong. You tell me. But this phone came out. It's a 5G phone. Now, I don't care about 5G. I don't think you should care about 5G. 5G in most places in the world is probably like 3, 4, maybe 5 years away. But this is a 5G phone. It's expensive at $999. But for me, this phone encompasses every single thing that I need in a phone, that I want in a phone, in a pretty gosh darn decent package. Okay, I'm not going to go through all the specs and, talk about that kind of thing. I'll give you some pros and cons, some things that I like, some things that I'm not so happy about. But to quickly cover what's going on here, we've got a Snapdragon 855 chip in here, just like all the other flagship phones of 2019. We've got an OLED panel here. We've got very nice glass back and sides. I like this phone because it has just a little bit of bezel so that it's more difficult to get the phantom presses, the accidental touches that are so prevalent for me when I use a Samsung device. Okay, let's just cut straight to the chase. The most important thing that this has for me is this little thing here. Now, you haven't seen it for a while if you're buying other phones, you haven't seen it, but this is a headphone jack. And not only is it a headphone jack, but it's a quad DAC headphone jack. Now, what's a quad DAC? As it's been explained to me, a quad DAC is like, DAC will recognize what kind of headphones you plug in. And once it recognizes what kind of headphones you put in, it'll recognize how many cells of that quad DAC are actually needed for the headphones that you put in there. And so that means if you put in a very sensitive kind of headphone, like any kind of headphones that you get in the box, or just consumer grade earbuds or something like that, then really it won't have to use too much of the DAC, because sensitive headphones are louder by design. Their ohms rating is usually somewhere below 80. Lower ohms means more sensitivity, higher ohms means less sensitivity. The reason that this is so beneficial to folks who want a headphone jack on their phone is that when you start getting into higher priced headphones, less sensitive headphones, like I have a pair of Sennheiser HD600s, those are $300. You can spend $500, $1,000 on a set of headphones. But the thing is, with most phones, the Samsung phones that are out there, the Pixel 3a and all that, those phones will not be able to effectively give enough power to those headphones for those headphones to perform in the way that they are designed. They need more power, and that's what the quad DAC offers. It has this headphone jack with the quad DAC, and that's honestly the biggest reason why this is my favorite phone of 2019 so far. But it wouldn't be my favorite phone of 2019 so far if it didn't also function on a daily basis satisfactorily as a phone. And it does. It really does. Now, I spent the first few weeks that I had this phone using the LG stock launcher. Wasn't a big fan, but it was perfectly serviceable. I've had LG phones in the past where the LG software was really, really annoying and maybe didn't actually work very well, but the LG skin that's on here right now worked pretty well. However, I'm using an icon pack on here called Flight Lite because I didn't want to pay $2 yet. I've been using it for a little while. It's pretty darn good. I found out about it from Dave 2D, a video that he did about his OnePlus 7 Pro. And so you can change icons with Nova Launcher. You can do a lot of different, way more granular things about how the phone operates with Nova Launcher. And if you have Nova Launcher Prime, you can do even more things, but that's what I put on this phone. That's what I'm using on a daily basis. There are some quality of life aspects to this phone that I think are important for any phone, and this phone is doing a pretty good job of hitting those points. For one thing, there's a fingerprint reader on the back here. And typically, like, fingerprint readers are hit and miss for me. You know, they are maybe a little bit finicky about how you put your finger on there. They're maybe a little bit finicky about, I don't know exactly why, but they don't always work when you touch the thing. But the LG V50 has been one of, if not the best fingerprint readers that I've used on a device, out of all the devices that I've used with fingerprint readers. I mean, well, we'll take the iOS devices and iPhones and stuff out of the equation because that's a different thing altogether. But in terms of Android devices that I've used with fingerprint readers, this fingerprint reader is the best. Why, you might ask? Why? Well, A, it's very fast. B, you can kind of like halfway get your finger on it. You can put your finger on it upside down and it'll work. You can touch it just about anywhere in any way and it will work. And that's not been an experience I've had with other fingerprint readers. Like I say, they've been more finicky, etc., etc. But if you're not going to use the fingerprint reader, it also has face recognition, which I found to be pretty darn good. It's not nearly as safe and secure as Face ID is with the iPhone. It's probably not as good as what Samsung uses, but it works well. Like if I'm just sitting here and I'm holding onto the phone and I hit the power button here, it will recognize my face and it will open. And it'll open straight to the home screen, which is a lot of people's complaint about iOS is like you look at the phone and it just unlocks the phone and then you have to go like this. So Android phones always open straight to the home screen or whatever screen was your last screen, and that's what this does pretty darn well. Other hardware niceties. It has here another small button. Now, on a Samsung phone, at least up until the Note 10, which we think is going to be like a power button and a Bixby button, this is a dedicated Google Assistant button.
That's me. How can I help?
I do have to admit that sometimes there are some accidental presses which are annoying, but you get used to it after a while. It's got volume up and down. The thing about the volume on this phone, for all of you folks who are audiophiles, much more granular audio control. Like you have to press this thing many times to get to max volume. You have to, whereas like most phones have maybe 10 markings of like up, or down. And this is much more granular. I've had the V series phones well, I had the V10, I had the V20, I had the V30 for a brief period of time. I didn't end up getting the V35. I passed over the V40 and was not sure about whether or not I should get this phone. When it came out on Verizon, I was like, they have one at my store, I might as well go check it out. But saying that, I knew that it was like maybe going to be just a mediocre phone with a great audio jack. What I found instead is that it's a really good phone with an amazing audio jack. And from using it from a day-to-day basis, it's done everything that I've asked it to. It's also, this is another feature, it's got this little pull-out window. The V-series phones used to have like a secondary screen up here. Now they just put it here in this pop-out window where you can scroll through and get some tools, get some phone numbers, get some play, pause buttons, all that kind of stuff. And I find that I'm using that a lot more than I use like the edge screen thing that Samsung has. There are a couple of negatives. One is that the battery life, I think it has a 4,000 milliamp hour battery. I'm pretty sure that that's what it is. It's a big battery. It should last all day. I find that my experience with this, whereas like with the Samsung Galaxy S10, I could get a day and a half on a battery charge and then like drop it on a wireless charger while I was working or something, and then I'd be good to go. This is more of a all day and you need to charge at the end of the day. Even if you have some charge left, the overnight standby of this phone, and this is something that's been the case for a lot of LG phones, is not as good. You lose maybe 10, almost 15% of the battery that you have overnight if you don't have it plugged in. So I tend to plug it in every night now, and that's what I've always done prior to these phones that had slightly better battery life. So it's not that big a deal. If you've got a wireless charger sitting on your nightstand or on your dresser or something like that, or on your desk or whatever, you can just drop it on there and have it charged before the birds start tweeting in the morning. So that's not anything atypical. I've had a little bit of weirdness with the Bluetooth functionality of the phone when it comes to, like, if I'm going out for a morning walk or something like that, someplace where I'm not going to use, really fancy headphones, and I just want to use my AirPods or wireless headphones, whatever, sometimes the signal will not be strong enough to go from my pocket to the headphones. Maybe that's just a quirk of this device. I did find that it was worse when I use a case on it. I'm not a big fan of cases, so I try to carry it around as much as possible without a case. I do have a case that I got off of Amazon. Unfortunately, this is another negative point. There aren't very many cases for this phone at all. There's no OtterBox case. There's no fancy brands are creating a case for this phone. I went into Best Buy to see if they had cases. They didn't have any in the store, and I think they only had 2 on their website. So if you're a big case style person, then this might not be the phone for you. But yeah, the Bluetooth thing, it works well when not in a case. And the case that I got was a little bit thick. It's sort of like a UAG style case, like all kinds of thick plastic around it. I don't know, but here's the thing. This phone will remain as one of the possibilities for 2019 Phone of the Year for me. Because A, it does everything that I need the phone to do. It does it well. It doesn't get in my way. It allows me to do what I need to do, and it's a fluid experience with very, very few, if any, hiccups that I can remember. Plus, it has this quad DAC in here that gives me the flexibility to use all the headphones that I have and to enjoy all the music that I have in ways that I would want to, as opposed to being forced to use a subpar sounding dongle or anything like that. It also has software built in that is for audio recording. This is a creative person's phone. This is a music lover's phone. This is for somebody who wants to do video. The camera stuff is very, very robust, and the camera takes decent pictures. I'm not a big picture taking person, okay? I'm not a person who actually believes that a smartphone camera is the end all be all of why you should buy a smartphone. So take that for what it is. However, it's done exactly what I wanted it to do and taken good pictures in the time that I've had it. So for someone like me who lots of times just wants to point and shoot, this camera's doing a great job. So on all those fronts, the LG V50 is like the sleeper phone of 2019. Yes, it's probably more expensive than it should be. It does have that 5G in there. Totally useless unless you live in a couple of different places. I live in Iowa, so I'm likely not going to see 5G for years. But if you're a person who likes to get a phone and use it for a long time and have that phone, this is a future-proof phone when it comes to 5G and that kind of stuff. Overall, it's been an incredibly good phone to use. It's given me all the options that I want from a phone, many of which have been taken away from phones for most other manufacturers across the board. So, is it right for you? You be the judge. There's not too many people talking about this phone, and it is an absolutely solid phone. It's my best phone of 2019 so far. We've still got the Note 10, we've still got the iPhones, we've still got the Pixel phones, and potentially even the Galaxy Fold. But LG V50, if you want audio goodness, if you want an all-around solid phone, it's worth considering. Anyway, thanks so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. If this was your first time here and you want to come on back again, then like, subscribe, bell notify yourself, and all that kind of stuff. I'd really love to see you back for phone reviews and tech opinions and any of those sorts of things. If you've been here before, thank you again so much for coming back. I really do appreciate it. I hope you continue to do so. And yeah, at any rate, to recap, my name's Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This is Painfully Honest Tech. Tech so honest it hurts. Until next time, I'm out.